Hey guys, and welcome back to Fortune Theory. So today I'm talking about Encounter, which is the latest film by Riz Ahmed and Octavia Spencer. And it is the story of a war veteran that comes to save his children from a unknown alien invasion and take them to safety from the unknown threat and take them away from the dangerous situations that could occur from the events that could unfold if he doesn't take them away. So as I mentioned, Riz Ahmed and Octavia Spencer are the main two leads in this film. Although Octavia Spencer is more of a supporting role, she's the most prominent supporting role, and then the main lead in this is Riz Ahmed. If you don't know who he is, you probably have seen him in Rogue One as Bodhi Rook, or as Carlton Drake in Venom. To people that have seen some of his other performances, you've maybe seen Sound of Metal. He was Ruben Stone in Sound of Metal. He was Rick in Nightcrawler. He was in Four Lines, if you saw that. He was Omar in Four Lines. If you've seen Octavia Spencer, she was in Fruitvale Station. She was in Hidden Figures, The Stash. She's been in a bunch of different films and shows that I can't think of off the top of my head, but like they're the main ones really. I mainly know her for Hidden Figures, to be honest. It's like the most recent film in the last few years or so. So yeah, the main two leads in this film, as Riz Ahmed plays a war vet who's been on a number of tours, I think it was 10 or so, and Octavia Spencer plays his parole officer. As we learn in the film, he attacked his, I can't remember the rank, he attacked his corporal or something in the army. That was like a leading reason why he ended up in prison, I believe, for a short time. And then Octavia Spencer's character became his parole officer. So this film is a sort of sci-fi thriller mainly, based on Riz Ahmed, who's playing Malik Khan, the son of these two kids, and he goes to rescue them from where they live because he has realised hence the name, encounter of this alien invasion against the entire world, that basically the entire opening scene tells the story of how these aliens have come to Earth, and they have either taken the life of bugs and microscopic bugs, or they are microscopic bugs, and they basically bug bites and cause people to become like these controllable beings, basically. And what I like about the film is that it's left to sort of your own presumption of exactly what's going on when the bugs, basically microbiology, microscopic bugs, like get into the skin, get into like the tissue and get into the bloodstream and basically just attack the body. And we do see this towards the middle of the film where after Riz Ahmed's character, I'm going to say Malik Khan, that is his character's name, where Malik has taken the kids, and just before halfway through the film, he attacks this random guy in his house because he saw the guy that attacked him had been attacked by these bugs, and it's like this weird, kind of explainable really, but just like an alien infestation of the body really. It's not shown massively, it's just shown typically by Malik's perspective. So yeah, the overall narrative for this is just Malik Khan, who goes to rescue his kids from this alien invasion and try to keep them safe, because at the beginning of the film, like I said, the invasion happens. We see how humans get infected by it. We see the kid's mother get sick, and like during the dinner we see like the kids drawing pictures of these bugs, and then like the mum like throwing up and basically looking very sick and ill. And then very quickly Malik comes to grab his kids and to take them away, and he disguises it as we're going on a trip, we're going away. And then very soon after, he explains that, we can't go back home. This isn't just a road trip. Because of what's happening, I've got to keep you safe. And then that's when he finds out that his wife, the kid's mum, has been infected as well. And then from that point on, it's basically just him trying to get across the state and get them to keep them safe as soon as possible. And then because that's sort of a prolonged event, we very quickly end up at the perspective of the kid's mum and their perspective, and then joining Octavia Spencer character, the parole officer, who ends up getting a call from Malik just to say that, I need help. What am I going to do? And I've got my kids, and they're not safe. They're not safe to go back home. That's when she's just, as his parole officer, and she's seen his past experiences with any psychological issues or anything, she's obviously worried for like that instance of, what if, what's going on with him. She's randomly got a call, and he's been fine recently, and she's had a lot of trust and faith in him recently because he's been all right. He's been like mentally healthy, physically healthy, and he's not been too bad after his parole. So from this point on, it basically becomes like a two-sided story of sort of law enforcement and her and parole officer trying to catch up to Malik as he's taken his kids, and because it's classified as a kidnapping, and if they go across state lines, which they almost have, I think at this point, it's like a felony and not just a kidnapping, and it's them trying to meet and cross paths and save and just come to terms with why you kidnapping your kids, basically. So then we get to, like I mentioned just briefly before this, about Malik attacking this guy. They end up needing another car, and he comes across this house in the middle of nowhere and with his kids, and he goes inside the house, and this is when we finally kind of get to see what he sees a lot of, which is these bugs are sort of everywhere, and it's clearly, this house to him is clearly somewhere that has been infested, and whoever lives here, has probably been attacked by the bugs. And then he sees a guy in an armchair with with a sawn-off, I think, or just any type of shotgun, and like, you're trespassing, what are you going to do? It's a $10,000 reward on your head right now because you've kidnapped your kids, is what the world thinks and the country thinks at the moment. And this guy's infected. For Riz Ahmed, we're in his perspective right now, and he attacks the guy because he shot as he tried to escape. From there, he grabs the guy's car because, he towed his car, basically. And then he continues running off with his kids, basically. Obviously, at this point, Malik is trying to completely tell his kids that, I need to keep you safe. The media and the news and NASA or whoever it is, because obviously his kids are trying to reason with him as well, and he's trying to explain that this alien attack is a serious issue. Of course, the world and everyone's going to try hide it and not tell the public, not tell people and society, but everyone else is kind of against him at this point, and has been since we learn about any psychological issues that Malik's gone through. So by about halfway through the film, we have seen Octavia Spencer's character and sort of the FBI and law enforcement sort of come together, especially with the kids' mum and stepdad. We see the other side of Malik's character, not from his perspective, from the people around him and people that know him and his family and his past. And this is sort of like the good exposition I like. There's a couple of moments where I thought the exposition was a bit, some bits weren't necessary, but obviously we want to try to find out as much about the character as possible. And luckily, it's a very natural conversation, and it's a necessary conversation for the plot between the FBI and the parole officer to sort of find out more about Malik and what's been going on and what he's like, what's his past like, why did he go to prison for a while, why did he assault his sergeant or captain, whoever it was, and her trying to give reason as to why the FBI currently believe that he checks all the boxes for being basically a killer, and he's going to kill his kids, because however much his parole officer will say that he loves his kids, he's not going to hurt them. The FBI believe that that's exactly what killers say. They love their family. So from here, it's a completely two-sided story of trying to get Malik and his kids and them in the car on their road trip to try and sort of still get to safety and keep his, there's no real ending to the journey, but try and keeping his kids safe in his mind. The kid's getting a bit unsure at this point because there seems to be no ending to this journey other than just ongoing travel and trying to keep them safe, because to them it feels like they're just trying to get away from their home with their dad, but there seems to be no ending and what's going on, basically, and they're just joining their dad in this journey, but unconvinced of his speculations of what's been going on. We end up with the sort of conclusion, like basically does, is just sort of soft moments of just scenes that slowly show the speculation of, is what Malik has seen and is talking about, and the reason he took his kids, real, the reason for trying to catch up with him and his kids, between government and his parole officer and his family, and try and get them all to safety and come to terms with what's happening. Everyone's just trying to like work out the reality, and it's when we finally sort of get to the main twist, roughly towards the end of the film, although you might speculate earlier on, and obviously a second time it's a good new perspective, a bit like if you watch Fight Club for the first time and you watch it for a second time, brand new perspective, because it's a massive plot twist. Hopefully you've seen Fight Club. But towards the end, we finally get an idea that a spoiler alert, by the way, spoiler in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No on-screen graphic, but Malik's had this all in his head, and the alien invasion is just some sort of psychological manifestation he's created and delusions he's seen. You know, him attacking the guy to get his car as well, and because he saw that, you know, the guy had an alien infestation and seeing these bugs. It's all in his head, and he's, you know, psychological tricks played on him, and it's basically just a damaged war veteran who has taken his kids because of this manifested delusion is grown in his mind. And we end with ultimately law enforcement catching up to him, and even for a while, because during the attack he got shot from the guy he attacked. For a while the kids are alone, they end up going to a shop, and it's half the reason as well law enforcement catch them as soon as they do, because the kids end up like one of the kids, Malik, their dad Malik taught him how to drive the oldest kid, and then they end up going to like a small just like liquor store place. They end up getting some painkillers for their dad, but I don't think he even uses them in the end. But then that's when the store clerk ends up like calling the police to say like to further what's going on. And then we end with all paths crossing. The chase happens basically. Law enforcement catch up to Malik and his kids, or his oldest kid, because he leaves his originally Malik wanted to leave them in a cafe. Where he does, he gets them both burgers, and he says like, go over there, he's going to look after you, because at this point Malik has realised that, you know, this is all in his head and he wants to keep his kids safe and he's a danger, so he leaves them at a cafe with like a cafe restaurant with food. And a little while later he realises that his oldest kid has joined him, has followed him because he's doesn't want to look after his younger brother like his dad told him. He actually wants to look after his dad because his dad's the one that needs looking after psychologically at this point. So once we get towards the end of the film, it's just the final chase down, getting them to the point of safety. Malik and his oldest son just coming to terms with reality even more so, and just a trust bond between them, and sort of Malik apologising to his son for leading him on like this, and he trusted him, and just that father-son bond sort of moment at the very end. And then he gets out of the car, and the kid ends up being able to take his dad's pistol off him, and he wants to go shoot the cop because he doesn't want to leave his dad. And when he gets out of the car, he doesn't want to leave his dad, and that's like the reason he jumps out of the car and aims the gun at all these police surrounding him at like the salt flats, basically, is where they end up. And then that is where the story ends, with Malik holding his kid in his arms as his oldest son is looking up at the chopper with the spotlight down on them, and then end credits. So yeah, overall that is the story. Very long-winded. Hopefully I cut this down a bit because I have blabbered on, but it's a generally decent story. It's something that I think luckily mainstream fans and fans of more indie studio films should like. I really love Riz Ahmed's recent sort of role he's gone for, because he's obviously still going for, you know, he's been in Venom and stuff like that, so and Star Wars, so he's doing the mainstream stuff, but he has chosen to do a bit more Still big films, but they're much more independent than, you know, Marvel or Star Wars. So he's been doing a lot less blockbustery films and a bit more down to earth, independent blockbusters, as it referred to. Because I mean, this and Sound of Metal is even more indie than this, really. Nightcrawler's about the same level as this, but this is a new, really good film by Riz Ahmed and Octavia Spencer, and a really good film by Michael Pearce, the director. I don't think I've ever seen his work before. I think this is one of his first features he's done. So if he makes anything else, I'm sure to check that as well. But this is definitely worth a watch. I think it's really good. It's a refreshing watch. Every now and again you see a star like Riz Ahmed just come through with another really good performance. I'm glad it had the twist it did, because obviously you don't know what's going to happen with something before the twist. You don't know how it's going to, I almost worry about what's the alien invasion going to be like, basically. I wondered whether it's going to be sort of like a mix between like Annihilation and another film. If you've seen Annihilation, it's a great film about like a sort of alien attack kind of. I didn't know if it's going to sort of have those kind of vibes, but very different. Big twist. Yeah, again, spoilers, but no, it's a really good film, and I encourage you to watch it. Link below to see it if you have a Prime membership. It's free. 30-day trial otherwise, below the bottom of the description. Watch it for free for 30 days. And 30-day trial. Cancel if you want. But yeah, overall it's really good, and I'm gonna stop saying it's really good. It just is a generally really good film, and I hope Riz Ahmed does another good performance in the future, and so does Octavia Spencer. But yeah, that's about it. So the only review today, we were going to be Ollie and I were going to be doing West Side Story, but our like free time has just messed us up, and just minor car repairs, so I'm out of action in that sense. But there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you for Hawkeye next week, and probably West Side Story at some point. If not, I believe No Way Home is next after Hawkeye. I think we're actually, are we at that point? It's November, I can't remember. Is it December 17th? Which is next Friday or Saturday? So yeah, No Way Home. It's a Marvel week next week as well. I mean, it's been Marvel week since episode 1 of Hawkeye, but big Marvel week next week, I think. So yeah, definitely check out Encounter, link below. Watch it for free for 30-day trial, link below as well. Use the bottom link if you haven't got Prime, then use the link to watch Encounter. And yeah, definitely check it out. It's got a great twist. And if you've clicked to this moment in the video, check out Encounter. Spoilers before this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.